Alrighty guys, so what is going on? It's here and welcome to
Obito vs Hashirama. As y'all can see, this is a swag Kage video. Obito vs Hashirama. This isn't like the his recent ones we've been doing with collabs with like Seth the Programmer. This is just him by himself. And I don't know how you guys feel, and I know we didn't watch the versus battle yet, but I just want to say this. I don't want to beat around the bush. Like, Hashirama fucking stomps every Obito before 6 paths Obito or Jubito. And I was thinking about this earlier, a little bit yesterday. I was laying down in my room and I was watching Bleach. And yes, I was watching Bleach, thinking about Naruto, leave me the fuck alone. But I was watching Bleach and I was thinking about this fight.
It's kind of easy. It's kind of easy to think about Naruto while you're watching Bleach when you watched Naruto for so fucking long, and Bleach came after Naruto, and then you just start comparing Naruto to Bleach.
Yeah.
The powers and shit.
Yep, that's
the
definitely
abilities, how similar they are.
Yeah. So I was thinking about Obito, and I was thinking about how many abilities Rinnegan MS Obito has, along with 6 Jinchuriki, and I still like all the crazy abilities Rinnegan has, like Chubaku Tensei, Bansho Tenin, Shinra Tensei, and I'm thinking even with like all that, shut your stupid ass.
Chubaku. So like
he knows what all these are because he's seen the Rinnegan video, but he's just cucking around. But yeah, like even with all those abilities, I still can't see him winning, even against Edo Hashirama. So I really want to hear how this goes now.
How's it going, everyone? Swag Kage here, and today we're going to be talking about Obito versus Hashirama. Normally, I take a look at multiple versions of both characters when I do a versus battle like this. I pit the most appropriate forms of each one against one another, see who comes out on top in each scenario, but I don't feel like doing that here because there are a lot of forms of Obito, and there are a handful of different Hashiramas, and not too many of them are relevant here. The ones I mainly want to focus on are Rinnegan Obito and Prime Alive Hashirama, though I may mention a couple of other versions of both characters throughout different points in the video. I'll go ahead and say right now that unless we're talking about the really heavily nerfed Hashirama that Orochimaru brought back to fight Hiruzen, most versions of Obito don't have a chance against him. I mean, obviously Kid Obito is like, he's completely irrelevant here, but the Yellow Mask Obito...
It's weird to hear that, because you hear, when I'm watching this guy, hearing him talk about him, and I'm watching shit about the show, you hear that Obito is this really fucking overpowered fucking dude. So the fact that Hashirama kicked his ass in this is ridiculous.
Bro, like, even Jubito, like, Obito is really fucking tough. Like, he's godly to the Kage, but he's not Madara level. Like, fucking Madara was shit on his ass.
That's crazy.
And fucking Obito was fighting KCM to Naruto, Perfect Jinchuriki B, and Kakashi, who was the only person with the means of countering his cowboy, and he was doing just fucking fine without the tail beast. So, but yeah, Hashirama is just a fucking monster, dude. Like, he's a bad opponent for anyone. Like, even against Jubito, like, he put up a pretty decent fucking fight. Just how fucking powerful he is.
That fought Minato and the Orange Mask Obito that we see throughout the first half of Shippuden. Neither of them would perform too well against Hashirama. I mean, I'm pretty sure that Hashirama stomps both of them, without question. The only super relevant forms of Obito are, like I said, Rinnegan Obito and Jubito to some extent, but I'll get into that later. Now, Obito has a very diverse arsenal, and he has access to a lot of tools that would give many of his potential opponents a lot of trouble. But unfortunately for him, Hashirama is extremely well equipped to deal with anything that Obito could throw at him. Let's start with Kamui because that's the core of Obito's fighting style. So as I tend to, I tweeted out the thumbnail for this video a little bit ago, and immediately everybody responded by saying, what's Hashirama?
Before he gets into this is funny to me because in American Studies, my friend Joe, I don't know if he's gonna see this. His name is Joe Mazzano, I'm pretty sure. And he read the entirety of the Bleach manga and watched all of Naruto, so I occasionally...
What the fuck do you do?
I occasionally talk with him over like stuff like this, and I shout out to him like Obito versus Hashirama, and he no hesitation, he's like Hashirama, and like I was thinking the same stuff because we were like joking around about like all the people. There's a lot of guys in the Naruto community. It's like as long as they like someone, it doesn't matter what you say, that person can't lose in their eyes. So like it'll be like, I love Jiraiya, so Jiraiya beats Madara. Bullshit.
I love Jiraiya, so beats Madara. I love. That's what you sounded like you were doing.
Yeah. So we were just coming up with some joke arguments, like people talk about how Obito's intangible and stuff like that. Now I'm not gonna tell you why that's null and void, because we're gonna get into that into the video. I don't really want to say everything, but it's people. Oh my god, they go above and beyond.
Hashirama got to do against Kamui. Obito can't be touched. Obito is intangible. If Obito can't take damage, how is he supposed to lose? And I imagine that given the fact that I have a reputation for giving Uchiha the benefit of the doubt in versus battles like these, many of you are under the impression that I think the exact same thing, but I don't. Kamui has a massive weakness, and it is shown time and time again throughout the manga every time Obito fights, and that is that he cannot remain intangible and damage his opponents at the same time. Let me provide an example of this weakness being exploited. During the fight against Naruto and B, Obito explains that all he has to do is touch Naruto once, and then he practically wins the fight. Almost immediately after this, he gets Naruto right where he wants him, places his palm flat on his face, then at the last second, guy shows up, attempts to hit Obito with a really hard leaf hurricane or whatever, and it forces Obito to use Kamui to avoid getting hit. Now this is a pretty big problem for him, because it's not like he can win a fight against Hashirama by just using Kamui forever. I mean, yes, it will keep Hashirama from damaging him, but it'll also keep him from damaging Hashirama. I'm also pretty sure that even if it's minimal, Kamui does have a chakra cost. Not to mention, it can only be used for a maximum of 5 minutes consecutively.
It has to. Every skill uses chakra. So
and with Eternal Mangekyo Sharingan, the chakra cost is reduced significantly. Like when Sasuke was in the Five Kage Summit and he was just fucking throwing around Mataratsu, and by the time Kakashi showed up after he killed Danzo, he was practically blind and fucking was damn near out of chakra. Once he had EMS, he was just fucking throwing Inferno Release and fucking Mataratsu everywhere.
I heard, so would you say this is true? I heard like the more you use a skill, the better you become with it. So do you think over time, if they fought long enough and he didn't run out of chakra, he could get good enough to be able to damage Hashirama a little bit?
I mean, Obito's a really like strong guy, like, but it'd be
I'm
like
just throwing out good questions.
Yeah, like to give you an analogy, it'd be like, could a super strong warrior, if he trained more, beat a god? He might be able to damage him, but like it's like what I was saying about Hashirama against Jubito. Like Hashirama is super fucking strong, and I can see him putting up a really good fight against Jubito, like Edo or Alive. Alive probably a definitely way better fight, but like he's not gonna win.
The weaken him a little bit.
Yeah, but like he winning is no chance.
So it's not like he's going to be able to do it forever anyway. And on the subject of chakra, there's no way that Obito has more than Hashirama. It's just impossible. Hashirama's chakra supply has been compared to that of Naruto's, which is already massive on its own, combined with that of 1/2 of Kurama's. He's been shown spamming attacks that are enormous in scale, like with no hesitation at all. It's practically like he doesn't even have a limited chakra supply in the first place. The guy fought against Madara for 24 hours straight, still had enough chakra left to create a wood clone for a diversion, stab Madara in the back and won. This is all to say that no matter how long Obito attempts to remain on the defensive, Hashirama will be able to outlast him, and Obito will eventually be forced to at least attempt to attack him. This will expose the weakness of Kamui, but the question is whether or not Hashirama will be able to capitalize on this. I believe he could for a couple of different reasons. The first and most important is that there's not a lot in Obito's arsenal that can actually seriously damage or kill Hashirama. The guy's really durable, and he can also heal from many of the injuries he sustains, so Obito's only real shot at actually killing him is going to be through using some kind of one-shot.
I want to ask a question, because I believe that's true. He says he can heal from a lot of stuff. Didn't I see one time he like got his arm back and shit like that? We've seen it in like one of the anime fights. Like he lost his arms and other limbs and shit like that, and just instantly regrew them because he was like reanimated or something like that.
With reanimation, but that's a heavily nerfed Hashirama. Like
either way, like
Hashirama alive, he could heal himself without weaving hand signs. So like effectively, he had a constant regen on. So like as
Deadpool.
long as so like even better than Deadpool. So like as long as it wasn't like a fucking tail.
Anime is always ridiculous, and you don't see Deadpool exploding planets.
Deadpool is a Marvel character, and there are a couple Marvel characters who fucking solo fucking entire verses. Mm-hmm. Yeah, like even fucking DBZ gets fucking bodied by God Goku gets bodied by God Superman. Like I don't want to hear you guys talking about that shit in the comments. It's a fact. But yeah, so like Alive Hashirama, like he was so fucking strong. Like effectively,
we might have to watch some shit like that. That would be cool.
Yeah, effectively he just has his own fucking auto regen. So like as long as it's not a fucking tail beast bomb which can destroy fucking continents, he's gonna fucking survive.
Hacks ability like Kamui or the human path. Now you may think I've gotten a bit off topic here, but the main reason I brought this up is because both of those abilities will leave Obito exposed for at least a couple seconds. The human path's ability to extract its target's soul requires physical contact to be established for a little while, and if he attempts to suck Hashirama into the Kamui dimension, that'll also keep him from becoming intangible for a similar period of time. Even though the openings only last a few seconds, I'm pretty confident that Hashirama would be able to land a hit or two during these intervals. And it's not like Obito can change his approach after taking damage because of this. Like I said, these are two of the only ways he can realistically kill Hashirama. Something else worth mentioning is Hashirama's ability to create wood clones, and considering his gargantuan chakra supply, I doubt there's any...
I don't know why.
So I'm gonna pause this.
15-second I can skip.
Any relevant limit to how many he can put out. This is super important because, barring some filler scenes in the anime, it's been pretty consistent throughout the manga that it's impossible for anyone, regardless of whether or not they have any dojutsu to help them, to distinguish a clone apart from its creator. Even Obito specifically is shown surprised by the idea that the Naruto he was just fighting may have been a shadow clone. So if anybody tries to say, oh, you know, Obito, he's an exception, he should definitely be able to tell Hashirama apart from his clones. I mean, it's clearly shown here that he wouldn't be able to do that. Even discounting that, Madara has also flat out said he's the only person who's ever been able to tell Hashirama apart from his clones. So hopefully everybody can agree on this. Now that makes the issue that I just talked about concerning Obito's inability to remain intangible while attempting to kill Hashirama way worse. This is really bad for two reasons in particular. The first being that since he can't tell which is which, he won't know who to approach with his human path or suck you into the Kamui dimension strategy, and the second being that if he does happen to corner Hashirama's real body and ends up being on the verge of either ripping out his soul or sucking him into the Kamui dimension, as soon as his body rematerializes, one of Hashirama's clones can come in and damage it. Even on the off chance that Obito does successfully trap Hashirama's real body in the Kamui dimension, if he created any wood clones up to that point, it doesn't really matter because at best Obito's gonna get away from the fight with a tie. He'd still have all of those really powerful wood clones on the outside to deal with, and he wouldn't be able to rely on Kamui since he sucked the real Hashirama into the dimension, and whenever he attempts to phase through one of the clone's attacks, Hashirama will be able to damage his body from inside of the dimension. The outcome of Obito versus Hashirama's wood clones under these circumstances would be one of two things. Either Obito would die and Hashirama would just be stuck there forever, or Obito would realize that he can't keep fighting this way without facing a massive risk of death, and he would intentionally eject Hashirama from the dimension itself. Now, one thing that I haven't mentioned yet that many of you may be waiting for me to talk about is Obito's ability to control 6 Biju at once in this fight. And against most opponents, that would be a pretty big deal, and you'd be right to be mad at me for ignoring it for so long. However, Obito's opponent here is Hashirama, and Hashirama should be able to deal with the Biju without any problems at all. He fought against a perfect Susanoo-cloaked full-powered Ninetales and still won. Meanwhile, as many of you may remember, Naruto, who, without taking the Ninetales into consideration, should be much weaker than EMS Madara, with one half of the Nine-Tailed Fox's chakra, was able to deal with 5 of Obito's Biju at the same time with enough chakra left over to engage in a fight with Obito himself and Madara also at the same time. Given this information, I just cannot, in good faith, argue in favor of the Biju. Hashirama should be able to deal with them as though they weren't even a problem in the first place. As a matter of fact, Obito...
He doesn't mention it here, but what if his other videos, and if you watch Naruto, you know, Hashirama, when he was alive, fucking, and this is a full Ninetales, and the rest of the fucking Biju made all the Biju his fucking pets, and then gave them away to the other fucking villages because he was just that fucking strong. So it really
I
doesn't
don't need
matter.
these bitches.
Like, the Bijou just really weren't a fucking
Might
factor.
actually want to retract them back into the Ghetto Mazo to keep them from running away from him after Hashirama inevitably either removes the chakra rod from them or eliminates Obito's control over them using his wood release jutsu. So after this, the fight would be reduced to what I was talking about earlier, Obito attempting to either remove Hashirama's soul using the human path or suck him into the Kamui dimension, and I just don't think he'd be able to do either one of those. I mean, obviously those aren't the only things he's capable of doing. He could obviously use other techniques to set up a scenario where he might be able to take Hashirama out with one of those two, but I can't see it happening because of how much of a monster Hashirama is. Obito would have to deal with multiple wood golems, the giant hands erupting from the ground, the bringer of darkness genjutsu, and last but not least, the Shin Susenju, or the wood release true several thousand hands technique
And
that
he's just
Hashirama
as
can
fucking
just
big as he
drop
looks.
to practically end the battle at any time. I would say that Obito could use the Rinnegan in creative ways to catch Hashirama by surprise at various points throughout the fight, but Hashirama is apparently familiar with at least one of the Rinnegan's techniques already. Now, just because he recognized the ghetto art of Rene Rebirth, it doesn't mean...
One last thing. He doesn't go into Shibaku Tensei in this video, and the reason why is, kind of like the Bijou, it's a non-factor. When fucking Madara was Sage of 6 Paths, he did a catastrophic planetary devastation and dropped like 16 meteors on Naruto and Sasuke, and Sasuke, like, with a casual slash from his perfect Susanoo, was able to fucking split them in half like fucking eggshells. And this is stronger Madara, well, not a stronger Madara, but perfect Susanoo clad Ninetales, like the point he made earlier, and the fucking several thousand hand statue just fucking fisted Madara. So I really can't say in good faith, sort of like Sweat Kage, that that fucking meteor is gonna do anything to him with Chibaku Tensei.
He has complete full knowledge on all of the Rinnegan's powers, but it is a possibility worth taking into account, and I think it'd make things even harder for Obito than they already are. The last possible thing that I could think to bring up in Obito's favor is the fact that maybe he's faster because he's fought with Minato before, and he fought with KCM Naruto before, and he was able to keep up with both of them. But then again, a weakened Edo Tensei Madara was also shown reacting pretty easily to KCM2 Naruto's attacks, and Hashirama was never implied to have any trouble keeping up with Madara's speed during their mini fight, so it's a bit tough to argue that Obito is the faster of the two here. Also, Hashirama has a bunch of crazy speed feats of his own, like here where he reacts to a tailed beast bomb being fired from really close behind him. This is all without the aid of Sage Mode, by the way. He notices it, turns around, weaves the summoning jutsu hand seals, and successfully summons 5 Rashomon walls to protect himself. And I'm gonna repeat it, this was in base without the aid of Sage Mode. I mean, in all honesty, I can't even see Obito beating Edo Hashirama. The guy's just way too powerful, and I can't think of any convincing arguments in Obito's favor. Jubito, on the other hand, completely different story. I won't spend too much time on this since I think the answer's pretty obvious, but like Hashirama takes one look at uncontrolled, destabilized, like baby mode Jubito, and he goes, "That guy's stronger than I am. Full power, like 6."
I don't know why.
Well, this is great to do while the fucking ad is playing before I pause it. But yeah, he calls it baby mode Jubito.
I'll just keep playing it while we do it. Then I'm gonna turn down the video a little bit.
But yeah, he calls it baby mode Jubito. Charlie didn't watch Naruto's War Arc, so he doesn't know. But he calls it baby mode Jubito because as soon as the 10 tails is so fucking strong, like Naruto, that KCM cloak, because he has the 9 tails inside him, or at least half of it. Mm-hmm. So when you're completely friendly with your tailed beast, you can become its Jinchuriki. Or using the Rinnegan's 10 Tails Coffin Seal, you can forcibly become the Jinchuriki of the 10 Tails, which is all the tail beasts combined. And it is so fucking strong, like it's made of natural energy. So like Sage Mode Jutsu and shit. Yeah. So its fucking reserves were so big, it was compared to the planet. So it's so fucking strong that if you can't maintain yourself, it'll rip you apart. So it's called Baby Mode Jubito because as soon as he transformed, he didn't have a clear sentience yet. So like he was fucking blown out of proportion. He was effectively being devoured by the 10 tails before he regained himself and started fighting, which made him astronomically more powerful.
Download anywhere.
Fuck Funimation.
Paths
Never mind,
Jubito with
don't
the
do that.
truth-seeking orbs and the ability to fly
I
and
watch
everything,
them a couple
he'd
times.
probably tear Hashirama
Think.
apart.
I
Well,
don't
I don't
know
think
what-
that's
I
fair.
remember-
Hashirama
I
would
hear- I
probably put up
remember
a decent
Funimation.
fight, but there's absolutely no way he'd be able to take Jubito out. The 6 Crimson Rays formation would come out, and that'd be the end of the fight. I can't think of anything that Hashirama could do to survive that. Maybe I'll make another video in the future about Hashirama versus Jubito.
Alrighty, guys. Well, that was that video. Y'all know the drill.
You guys, yo, hold up, yo. Anybody who's watching this video, I know, because I know this video is gonna get a shit ton of fucking views. And I know you guys really like watching reactions, and it's okay to pause videos and reactions. Before we end this video, I shot a guy out of a fucking helicopter while soloing a squad
That
match
shit was tough.
in Call of Duty Mobile, and I'm about to go try it again and win a match. So I really want you guys to go check out that video. It's already uploaded, so
And to clarify, he did not blow up this chopper.
I shot the
He
pilot.
quick scoped the fucking pilot and murked this
It was
nigga.
fucking savage.
Alrighty, guys. So y'all know the drill.
Like, if you enjoyed, subscribe. We'll see you guys in the next video.
Join post notification squad.
And don't forget to leave suggestions on things we should react to. Peace.